so quiet and peaceful.
And be There we go. You better not fucking fall asleep this time.
Oh my god.
For real.
Oh, Jesus.
You need to drink a fucking espresso every time we have one of these. Dylan and I can have a beer. You drink espresso. You should pull up a stream and be our guy behind the chair. Figure out how that works now. Dylan.
Yes, sir.
Cheers, me, sir.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. This is much better cold, I must say.
Yeah. You're welcome. You know, that's a Midwest beer, too.
Midwest. What does that mean? It's from the Midwest?
That's right.
Oh.
The people who came up with it are in the center of the United States of America somewhere.
Center.
Somewhere.
In the flyaway states. The
Yeah, those
flyaway.
ones.
The ones that suck. Let me get them off my
I
fucking
can't suck that
shower
much, they
symbols.
got fucking garage beer.
Well, it does suck that much because they had to make garage beer. If it was better, they would have good beer. And they wouldn't have to make their own.
But it's much better now that they did.
Exactly. Let me find our chapter here. Right, now it'd say that you're more likely to fall asleep during this chapter because there's no fight scenes or anything, but considering that you fell asleep during all the action, I don't know if that's even effective.
Definitely staying awake for this character development, exposition, and dialogue. Get ready.
This is an exposition and dialogue scene, or chapter for sure.
Oh boy.
Let's figure out what's happening. Yes.
Does anyone need a recap? Probably Ryden. Ryden, you need a recap.
Yeah, what happened?
Okay, well actually I want you to tell me what happened. Tell me what you remember so I can fill in the blanks.
They went to a bar and they got their asses beat by some soldiers for no reason.
No reason at all.
No reason at all.
Not anything. There was no reason why those soldiers were there. They just showed up, appeared out of thin air.
No, they were just there. It was, after hours.
After hours.
They were
In the
done.
middle of the day.
They were done with work.
You're so fucking stupid.
Getting a beer at the bar, and then they
Okay, I want to hear... Wait.
Maybe some grog.
They
Yeah.
just whooped our protagonist's ass for no reason.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. And then what? Anything else?
Then that was the whole chapter.
That was the whole chapter.
Mhm.
They just went to the bar. They didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like every chapter of my life right there.
Would you like to give a recount from your side of things?
I'll be honest. I don't recall a whole lot either, so.
Alright, so I'll recap.
Yo,
it for you.
I got more than he did. Does that count for something?
Oh,
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I could have just restated your same points and we would have been on the same page, but.
I'll recount for you.
Oh,
It's
so I
fine.
wasn't wrong.
You weren't wrong. You weren't right, but
Okay.
I remember bar fight. You said that those
Bar fight?
guys come back because they're important for something else.
the soldiers came to the bar because they were saying, they're like, hey, we didn't forget about you, Vincent. We know. We want your service. So the king wants your service. We're here to escort you. This is what happens if you don't. They try to threaten them, but then Ghost is there and he kicks the shit out of all of them.
His name is Ghost.
Not his real name. The Guardians all, like Fear explains, the Guardians all have like nicknames. They have like their superhero name, if you will.
Oh, okay.
They all have names that are kind of either given to them, assigned to them. Somebody gives them that name.
Okay.
Eventually. And then after that they go and see their grandfather, Charlie. They go see him, and he gives them all their designated weapons. Do we remember what those weapons were? Vera has two daggers that are like spears, right? They're basically kunai. They're basically kunai because
But why would you describe them as spears?
to give people a reference to see what it is.
What is it?
It's
You said it's like a kunai, but a spear. Those are two.
yeah, but it's to instead to just be like it's a kunai. It's just it's using descriptive words. It's like, oh, okay, I can visualize the pit. More people are going to be able to visualize the tip of a spear versus what a kunai is. Does that make sense?
I disagree.
Okay, well, that's the route I chose, so.
I think you're dumb.
Okay. Says the guy who falls asleep every time he reads a book.
I'm keeping myself awake right now.
All right.
You
great
already
job.
sound like you're falling the fuck asleep, bro. You're like already halfway there.
It's already like. Okay, so Vera has 2 kunai basically because it has a ring in the pommel, so she's able to spin it on her finger.
Okay.
Varric has the double-bladed great axe because he's a big burly motherfucker.
So it has like it's double bladed like this.
Yeah, so it's like, you hold up an axe just like this, then one side has blade, and then the other side has a blade. Opposed to being just like an axe, or like a hatchet, where one side's a blade and the other side's nothing.
Oh, I thought by double bladed you were gonna mean like it's got like here's the handle of the axe.
Yeah?
Here's the head. I thought you were gonna say there was like 2 heads basically.
No, that is
Okay.
cool, though.
That'd be really cool.
That is cool.
Keep
No,
that for the sequel.
Yeah. maybe he upgrades later and gets a different one. But no, it's just
Quick,
it's both sides.
unpublish the book.
It's not published.
Oh,
Perfect.
quick, fix it.
Okay, and then Alexandra has she has a sword or a hand and a half sword, which is it has like a has the wooden shaft. It's got a golden trim. It's pretty basic hand and a half sword. They all have the star stones that represent their energy color, right? Vera's is red. Their energy.
So Barrick is bad.
No, Vera's is red.
Barrick's bad.
No, this isn't Star Wars. Barrick's is yellow. Alexandra's is blue. Vincent's is green.
Wait, all the names again? Say this again.
Vera.
Okay.
Barrick.
Is yellow.
Yes. Alexandra. Blue.
Bear's the mad one. Barrick's the happy one. Alexandra's blue.
Yeah.
She's a sad, somber one.
Okay.
Next.
Vincent's is green.
He's envy.
Okay. Yeah. She's just assigning emotions to colors.
Is that a reference to something?
No. No, it isn't. Not at all. Do you not break my shit? And then Vincent has 2 sabers that are the same thing as Alexandra's swords. They're just curved.
Okay.
They're almost like scimitars.
Is Alexandra like Leonardo running around with like 2 katanas?
No. She only has 1. It's a hand and a half sword.
Did you just say it's a hand and a half sword?
Yeah, like a bastard sword.
What's that?
What?
What's that?
A sword that's big enough for a hand and maybe a half. It's not a 2-handed great sword, but like she can wield it with 1 hand or she could use 2.
Okay. So it's like a mini katana.
No,
Half size katana.
it's a sword.
Is there a picture of it
Whatever.
in the book?
No.
Oh.
Does it have a blade guard?
A cross guard?
Yes.
Yes.
What's it look like? Describe it to me. You haven't described it in your book yet.
Yes, I have.
Dang it.
Yeah, I described all of their weapons. The crossguard extends out, sturdy and long, with a golden trim.
Oh, so it's like a fucking medieval kind of sword.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And Vincent's are exactly the same, except curved. And he has 2.
Wow. He likes scimitars.
Yes.
So he's a pirate.
Sure.
Okay.
That's it. Are we good?
That was the whole summary. So they got beat up. Vincent's still. He was supposed to be escorted, but
He is supposed to. They have an X amount of time
the
to reach them.
soldiers got beat up.
They're not escorting him. They're just saying you have this amount of time to meet us here.
Okay.
Otherwise, misfortune shall befall your city. Essentially. You with me?
Yep.
Okay, you with me?
Mm.
Okay.
Yep. Let's start.
All right. Chapter 2. So fucking stupid. Chapter 2. Everyone was gathered around a dinner table covered with wide variety of foods. Plates filled with berries, cheeses, slices of bread, and meats were all spread out over, leaving barely any room left for their ale. But make room they did. While the rest of the group was dressed in their evening tunics, Ghost refused to remove his cloak, as he insisted he would not be staying long. However, once the sun had completely fallen to darkness, he removed his mask and hood. Hard features and a sharp chin full of scruff made up a face just as rugged as his voice. He was not a man of many words, but the deep blue eyes hiding behind his long black hair suggested there was much to be heard within them. With everyone lost in their conversations, Vincent took a silent leave into the sitting room, where the fire was dying down. He lifted a fresh piece of wood from the pile beside it and poked around in the ashes. The flames hissed at him as he rearranged the burning kindling. Embers leapt from their fiery confinement with a pop and a crack, drifting into the air above. They only had a brief moment of ascension before they vanished beneath a black-beaded necklace that hung just above the mantelpiece. Vincent left his eyes to linger on the accessory. It bore a starstone, now damaged and faded. It no longer contained its ethereal illumination. He longed for a clear memory of the man who once wore it, even if it were just a brief image or the sound of his voice. Yet even in the deepest part of his mind, he found nothing more than blurred silhouettes and fragmented noises, like echoes in a dream. A dream that had now become more of an idea, a code of ethics for Vincent to uphold, a legacy for him to carry on. Strange, he thought, that he desired to emulate someone he barely remembered. "If you're watching me from the stars, Father," he whispered to himself, "I hope I make you proud." No birthday candle, no falling star, no fountain or favor could ever bring him what he truly wished for, but he had accepted that long ago. Acceptance, however, was not a remedy for the one. It was merely a tonic to help him choke down the rough truths of reality. He found himself lost deeply in thought when a voice from the dining room called him back. "Vince, come on back in here for a moment," Charlie requested from the dining room. Even with a raised voice, his tone lost none of its gentleness. When Vincent returned, he stopped just beneath the archway separating the two rooms to see everyone looking at him with a full mug in their hand. Fira was standing behind his chair, gesturing toward it with an open hand. "Come sit," she said. With him seated, she raised her mug. "A toast to Vince." She looked into his eyes for a moment. There was an endless list inside her head of the things she wanted to say, but in the end, "Happy birthday," was all she said. A soft flicker in his eyes suggested that he understood the words unspoken. "Happy birthday, Vince," everyone followed. They all raised their mugs in the air, then tapped them back to the table before finally bringing them to their lips. As Fira sat back down, Ghost lifted a small leather pouch shaped like a pear from his pocket and took a swig. "Here, Vince," Ghost said as he tossed the pouch to him. Vincent caught the projectile and inspected it carefully. It looked like a smaller version of any normal water skin, but when he popped the cork and took a sniff of what was inside, he was revolted and looked back at him with a horrid expression. "What is it?" "Tastes better than it smells. Have a drink. Pass it around." Hesitantly, he brought it to his lips and took a small taste. Again, he was revolted. "Did you mean worse than it smells?" he said with a cough. "Enjoy it. That's a rarity only familiar to the King of Lymphus and his guards." "And how did you get it?" Alexander asked as she took the mystery liquid from Vincent. "The king. A couple sips of that is the same as several ales." She choked down her sip and handed it to Beric. "You know King Leon?" "Never met him." Beric squirmed as soon as it touched his tongue. "Why does it burn?" "So you stole it?" Vera asked as she sniffed the pouch several times. He unwillingly relinquished it from his possession. "You stole it," she said with a smirk before taking a second sip. Alexandra leaned in curious. "You used your favor to steal from a king?" In an instant, before Vera could take her third gulp from the pouch, Ghost appeared behind her and snatched it from her hand. All that remained in his seat was a wispy black trail. He looked at Alexandra and took a swig before appearing back in his seat, answering her question with silence. Vera's mouth was left wide open with amazement. "How does your favor work?" she finally asked, barely able to contain herself. Ghost handed the pouch to Fira, who then passed it on to Charlie. I can relocate to any nearby shadow, he said, pointing to Vera's shadow on the floor. See? I told you, V, Alexandra said. You didn't kill anyone today, did you? Charlie questioned. Unfortunately, no. Charlie seemed genuinely surprised. Well, that's a first. Vincent started to imagine the many bloody ways in which the encounter with the soldiers could have ended differently. Killing them before they returned to Meditas would only have given Sentis a reason to bring his army to our doorstep, Fira said. And we don't need to give these four any more trouble than they've already bargained for. Ghost leaned back in his chair. Trouble only Vince is required to deal with, he said, looking at Vera, Varric, and Alexandra. You three would be wise to stay here. Alexandra, put off by his comment, crossed her arms and spoke conclusively. Mama's taught us many lessons over the last 10 years. No matter how difficult they were, how bad we struggled, or how much our bodies ached, it was always easier to do with one another. Whatever challenges one of us faces, we'll face them the same way we always have, together, as a team. Vincent nodded gratefully to her before she turned back to Ghost. We're going, Alexandra said definitively. Yeah, Vera chimed in. I can't become the most fearsome guardian in all of Sanora by sitting here in Silva. Varric set down his mug of ale and wiped the foam from his mouth. Guardians aren't supposed to be feared, V. We're protectors. Pfft. Vera waved away his words. Besides, Vincey probably couldn't even find his way there without us anyway. Not true, Vincent disagreed defensively. Vera grinned and narrowed her eyes at him. Okay, then which direction out of Kaelin do you go to Meditas? West, just like the captain said. Alexandra shook her head. No, you go north. Vera rocked back in her chair and crossed her feet up on the table. Ha! Told you! Fira glared at her, rivaling the look she had given the captain, and Vera promptly returned her feet to the floor. Varric placed his hand on Vincent's shoulder. You get lost easy, bud. Why did he tell us to meet at the western gates then? Vincent asked, brushing away Varric's palm. That I don't know, Alexandra admitted. Because it's the safest route, Ghost answered. Normally, you'd head to the northern gates, but those parts of the ruins lead you to the southeastern corner of Thornruff Woods. Both places are overrun with bandits. The western side of the ruins, however, is littered with horrors. Bandits avoid it like the Star Plague. I'd rather you avoid Kaelin altogether, but you don't have that kind of time. Together or not, it's no place for children. We're not little kids anymore, Alexandra said firmly. Fira laid a platonically reassuring hand on Ghost's arm and looked into his eyes. They're going to be fine. Besides, they almost killed you when they were barely waist high. She smiled proudly. They're a little better now. Ghost grunted and rolled his eyes. We almost killed you? Alexandra asked, surprised. Well, to be specific, it was Vera, Fira said. Go on, show him. Reluctantly, Ghost pulled back his dark hair on the left side of his head, revealing a deep scar that ran from the front of his ear to the nape of his neck. Vera's eyes widened in amazement as she leaned across the table. I did that? Charlie laughed. A craftsman should always recognize their own handiwork. Vera fell back in her seat. It was so long ago. I don't remember it. I'm sorry. You should be honored, not sorry, Fira said. Only twice has someone brought Ghost here close to death, and one of them was you, a tiny little girl. She laughed. Ghost grunted. Vincent suddenly noticed that while Ghost bore the grotesque scar from Vera on the left side of his face, the trademark cuts of a rogue were absent from his right. He did not understand how he had overlooked this before, but now his curiosity was piqued. Why don't you have the... Vincent asked, gesturing to his right cheek. The rogue scar? Ghost scoffed. I wasn't about to sit around and let someone cut me up. Besides, I never made it back to Meditas. I was a little busy with 3 strange kids. He turned his attention to Alexandra and gestured to her left hand. How is your condition? Alexandra self-consciously laid her right hand over the linen glove covering her left as if to conceal it further. Slowly spreading, she answered nervously. Does it hurt? She shook her head. And she hasn't shown any sign of a favor? He asked, looking at Fira. Not one, she replied. Even after all the mental and physical stress I put them through. Lucky. How was that lucky? Vera asked. She could have ended up with 2 favors. No, Ghost responded firmly. You only ever get one. I've seen what happens to those who try for another. What happened to him? Vincent wondered. Silence and the solemn faces of Fear and Charlie were the only answers he received. I'll be fine, Alexandra stated. Even though her tone suggested confidence, Vincent knew how she felt. She was drowning in worries. They all were. Her mutated arm had long shrouded them in mystery, and now, as the day approached where she would drink from a second fountain, the imagined potential consequences covered them all in a cloud of fear. I hope so, Ghost said as he stood up from the table. You're still better off staying behind. Fear rose from her seat to embrace him. They're going to be fine, she reassured him. He did not respond, at least not verbally. And Vincent watched Ghost's eyes leave Fira's and linger on the necklace hanging above the fireplace momentarily before they returned. Fear gave him a nod, and with it, he threw on his mask and hood. Vera rushed over and threw her arms around him. Thanks, Uncle Ghost. We're going to miss you. Ghost stood still, frozen with confusion. Vera turned back around and headed to her seat with a mischievous grin on her face. His eyes were hidden, yet they all felt them as he looked back at the table. Thanks for the meal, he said just before he vanished. All that was left was the black, wispy trail that dissipated into the air. Well, he was pleasant, Vincent joked. Ghost may not be the sweetest of berries, but he means well, Fira said, sitting back down. Charlie crossed his arms. If you say so. Even you would become a bit coarse if you spent as much time alone in the wild as he does. Why doesn't he just stay here, then? Barrick asked. Fira sighed. He'll never come out and say it, but I'm sure half the reason he never stays in one place is because he feels responsible. Responsible for what? His favor allows him to go into the kind of places where people do not wish to be seen or heard. Places you might hear the underlying truth within rumors or the whispers of war. And with the shield of night, his favor allows him to travel twice as fast as any horse. Makes for a great messenger. He can inform those necessary of potential dangers or remove them before they become a larger issue. But if he didn't and let things unfold however they may, then he'd blame himself. Sounds like a lot of weight to carry, Barrick said. Much lighter than the weight of lost lives you might have been able to save. And being surrounded by that much chaos makes the return to a normal life far from easy. What do you mean? Alexander questioned curiously. Fira paused for a moment and took a breath. She turned around and gazed into the fire in the sitting room. As the flames began to pull her in slowly, her voice softened. Being exposed to that kind of darkness changes the way you see the world. It's like an abrupt awakening from a beautiful dream. No matter how hard you try, there's no falling back into it. Now you're awake, and you see everything in a new, unwelcoming light. Sleep is no longer your friend, no matter the warmth of your bed. Noise becomes a comfort, while silence is deafening. Anything that nears a sense of peace can only be a lie. No matter how bright the sky, all you can see are the shadows. Charlie gently placed his hand over Fira's. She turned to him, almost startled, and wiped the tear from her eye. Mom, are you okay? Vincent asked gently. I'm fine, love. Let's get all this cleaned up and get ready for bed. Everyone did their part in returning the dining room back to normal, and once everything was finally back in its proper place, Charlie said his goodbyes for the night. Fira closed the door behind him and turned around to see Vera lifting the waterskin pouch to her lips. Like a deer that had just been spotted, she froze. Fira gave her an expression of slight disapproval and shook her head. Well, you might as well hand it over, Fira said to her. Vera quickly took a sip and handed her the pouch. I can't believe you actually enjoy that stuff, Barrick said. Yeah, it's terrible, Vincent agreed. However, I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight, so He held out his hand until the pouch was placed in his palm. He took a sip and instantly shivered, then handed it back to Vera. Well, reading usually puts you all right to sleep, Fear suggested. It's been a long time since you read anything to us, Vincent choked out through the tightened throat. Do something we've read 100 times so I don't have to do any thinking. In that case, it doesn't matter what I pick, she teased. He sneered as everyone laughed. Vera plopped herself down on the sofa, while Barrick sprawled out on a rug made from bear fur, with his hands crossed behind his head. Vincent positioned himself next to the fireplace as Alexandra sat down with her back propped up against the sofa. Fira ran her fingers along a bookshelf in the corner of the room, searching for something to read. Any request? She asked. Since we have to go to Kalen, Alexandra suggested, what about the battle for Sanora? Yes! Vera exclaimed, practically jumping out of her seat. I'm so excited to see the statues of the Four. The battle for Sanora it is, then. Fear reached for a large maroon novel with worn corners and weathered edges. Dust floated into the air as she lifted it from the shelf. The title was stitched in gold letters on the front cover, the author's name, Grand Sabin, underneath. She took a seat in a wooden rocking chair with an olive-covered cushion just to the left of the fireplace. Sorry, reposition. She cleared her throat as she opened the novel to the first page. Silence fell over the room as she began to read. Peace. A strange concept. Something we all desperately desire to the point that we are willing to wage war for it. Yet once we have it, we grow restless. The Sanorians did not rule over mankind poorly, at least not at first. Beings of similar nature to us, but standing over a foot taller than the largest of men with— Oh, Bear! Maybe you're part Sanorian, Vera interrupted. He shook his head gently with his closed eyes as Vera continued. With abilities beyond those of mortal men. Perhaps we were jealous of their powers, or simply feared what they could do with them if they so chose. Whatever the reason, a change was desired. When the stars rained from the dark sky above, the end of Sonorian's reign had begun. At first, they seemed like marvelous jewels in the sky, like gods descending to our land to grace our eyes with their beauty. But there was nothing graceful about them. As Fira turned the page, Alexandra patted Vera on the leg and held out her hand for the pouch. She handed it down from the sofa before repositioning herself to lie on her back, with one of her legs dangling off. She started to swing her foot as Fira read on. Four bright burning stars crashed into the ground with a miraculous blast, ending any form of life for miles. Man and Sonorian alike were instantly turned to ashes with the rest of the land, and soon after the stars' arrival, an illness befell the Sonorians. The Star Plague, they called it. There had been a change in the atmosphere that affected only them. We humans, and the rest of our life, remained unaffected. They believed the planet was dying, entering its final stages. So, in an attempt to heal it, four of the Sonorian's strongest warriors were chosen to use their power at each of the star sites. Alexander suddenly whipped around and smacked Vera's swaying leg. V, if you kick me one more time, I swear to the stars I'm going to rip your foot off and throw it in the fire. Vera looked down at her with warm red cheeks and a sly grin. Fira shot her a look before she could act on her mischievous thoughts. When she turned to Vincent, he was sitting straight up to the fireplace with his eyes closed and his head slowly drifting to the side. Barrick remained perfectly still, his chest slowly rising and falling with each breath. Fira turned the page. Their power was as impressive as it was beautiful to witness, but it was not without its downside. As amazing as it was, using that much power cost all four of them their lives. Yet with their sacrifice, life returned, stronger than before, and with it, something strange. Shortly after, the land reverted to its former state, but at each of the 4 star sites, a natural spring of raw energy formed. Some believe these springs to be the manifestation of the souls that were sacrificed. Due to this belief, the springs became sacred, and cities were built around them to protect their divinity, with monuments erected all over Sanora to commemorate the four who were lost. While their efforts brought life back to the land, they did nothing for the Star Plague. The sickness continued to ravage the Sonorians, and as they failed to find a cure, humanity saw an opportunity. Rumors spread of the sacred water's ability to grant powers similar to those of the Sonorians with just a drop, if one could survive it. Driven by desperation or a lust for power, men and women from all nations drank from the springs, and those who survived did indeed gain exceptional abilities. With these new powers, and with the Star Plague weakening the Sonorians, mankind soon took over. No longer would we be looked down upon or seen as lesser beings. We would fight for a new kind of peace, a peace of our own making, a peace of man. And thus, the battle for Sanora began. Fira looked up to see everyone's closed eyes closed except for Alexander's, and she smiled. Whenever we read this at night, you're the only one to ever make it through the prologue. How many nights did it take us to finish the first time? Alexander asked. Fira turned and looked at Vincent. To this day, I don't think he knows how it ends. Alexander laughed. She looked over her shoulder to see Vera passed out with her mouth hanging wide open. The pouch was still gripped beneath her palm. She gently snuck it out from under her and went to take a sip, but found it was already empty. When she held it upside down, not even a drop came out. Should I keep reading? Fira asked. No, that's okay. You don't have to. Another chapter and I'll end up just like her. Alexander gestured over her shoulder to Vera. Fira smiled softly. All right, then. She closed up the book and set it back on the shelf. Hey, wake up, Alexander said as she shook Vera's foot. He grunted. You're on Vince duty. Come on, grab him and go to bed. He grunted again and let another moment pass before he sat up and looked around the room to quickly remember where he was. When he rose to his feet, he walked over and scooped up Vincent gently in his arms. My hero, Vincent muttered in his half-awake state. Barrett grunted with his eyes half open. Good night, boys, Fira said as she hugged him from the side. As they left the room, she turned to Alexandra. You got her? Yeah, I got her, Alexandra groaned as she picked up Vera in her arms. Aside from her breathing, she showed no signs of life. Fira walked over and kissed Alexandra on the top of her head. She let out a soft laugh at Vera's condition. Always a handful she is. Vince and her both, Alexandra said with a toss of her eyes. Fira laughed again. And something tells me they always will be. Unfortunately, I agree. She smiled. Well, off to bed with you then. And try not to drop her this time. Alexandra nodded with a grin and went back to her room with all of Vera's dead weight in her arms. Fira returned to her rocking chair and sat down. She slowly looked around the room, from the bookshelf to the sofa, to the dining room, to the fireplace. It was quiet. And before tomorrow's sun had even reached its peak, the silence she presently sat in would become permanent. Her heart began to ache. The day she had been dreading for the last decade had finally come, and it had arrived much too soon. She closed her eyes, hoping that sleep would overtake her, but the gentle crackling of the fireplace never fully faded away. There's a little pause. A little page break. Is he sleeping? He's kind of awake still. You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great. Just a little bit.
I'm trying.
Just a little bit more. Oh, damn! She made it.
Fuck! I hope that was caught on camera.
Probably not. I think Sophie's just out of camera.
You might have got a little bit of it.
You might have caught her pause, but yeah, the top part of that's out. Ow.
Daddy.
Daddy. Vincent awoke to the smell of bacon crisping in the kitchen. The day had finally come. For a while it had seemed like it never would, but now it was here, and everything felt surreal. Knowing it would be a long time before he ever set foot back in his room again, he took his time getting dressed, savoring every moment he had left. When he finally walked out his bedroom door, he turned back around. Both his and Barrick's beds were neatly made for the dust to settle in their absence. Sunlight washed over the wooden floorboards, stopping just at his feet. He took a breath and shut the door. Everyone, including Charlie, was already seated at the dining room table. Fira was placing plates of eggs, fruits, bacon, and bread all across the table. Charlie patted Vincent on the shoulder as he sat down next to him. "How'd you sleep, my boy?" "No different than any other night, really." He turned to Barrick as he started to assemble food on a plate. "Surprised you beat me out of bed, though." "Mom's breakfast is the only thing that'll ever get him out of bed," Alexandra said. Barrick grinned with a mouthful of food. She shook her head and smiled. "I swear, you and Bear could sleep through another starfall." Fira slathered a small piece of bread with butter. "Vince gets that from his father." Vincent looked down the table to see Vera hovering over a cup of tea, letting all the steam roll over her face and into her nose. Her eyes were half open, and her hair was a frizzy, tangled mess. "V, you feeling okay?" he asked with a chuckle. She groaned and mumbled something under her breath. "She'll be fine in an hour or two," Fira said. "Maybe now she'll have learned that stealing has its consequences." Vera took a sip from her tea. "I didn't steal it." "What do you call it, then?" "He unwillingly relinquished it from his possession." Fira glared at her from across the table. "Eat the bread, too. That'll help." She groaned. Barrick reached across the table to fill his plate again. He continued to pile food on top of it until it was practically spilling over the edges. Alexandra stared at him, disgusted and slightly impressed. "What is that now, Barrick? Your third plate?" Barrick looked up at her with his mouth stuffed full of food and held up 4 fingers. "How?" "I'm just really gonna miss Mom's cooking," he said defensively. Fira laughed. "Well, I appreciate that. You'll have plenty of delicious options to choose from in Meditas. Plenty of new dishes I can never make you here." "Oh yeah," Charlie added. "If that old pirate is still around, ask him for his beef stew. While he pours a terrible ale, the stew is a tender and salty perfection." Barrick froze with his mouth half full. "Beef stew?" he asked, as if his breakfast was no longer satisfying.
You did that very well. You did that very well. I thought your mouth was full. Experience.
He asked, as if his breakfast was no longer satisfactory. Everyone burst into laughter. They continued to eat and chat a bit longer until Fira decided it was time for them to go. Everyone gathered their belongings and said their quiet goodbyes to their home. Vincent panned around and watched all of his memories flash before him in an everlasting instant. Loud dinners full of shouts and playful arguments at the table, drinking competitions held in the sitting room, and peaceful nights by the fire just like last night. He basked in the moment until a heavy hand fell upon his shoulder, telling him it was time to go. Barrick gave him a nod, and together they stepped outside. "All set?" Fira asked the group. Everyone nodded in response. "Good. We'll walk you to the gate." "You don't want to walk us the whole way?" Vincent joked. "Well, I would love to. If I'm seen anywhere near Meditas, it would be the end of my days. Come on now," she said as she turned and began to lead them through the village. A somber cloud seemed to dwell over Silva. For everyone else, it was nothing more than a normal day, yet it felt quieter. No birds were singing, no children were playing, and not even the breeze made a sound as it swept across them. Everyone was left to their thoughts until they reached the tall wooden gate to the city, where they were greeted by Rucker waving frantically. Vincent noticed a small brown pouch in his stationary hand. Fira motioned to the 2 guards who stood below with their spears to open the doors. As the large gate slowly dragged across the ground, she turned around to give them their final lecture. "I've taught you all everything that I can. However, you'll soon find that a real battle is a better teacher, far better than I. You will get hurt, and you will recover, but for every scar there is a lesson. Learn from it, and you'll grow even stronger. Fight only when you need to, and when you do, fight together. And if you run, run together. Fleeing from battle and retreating are two different things. Do not confuse them. One is cowardly, and the other may be necessary. The foolish strength to stay and fight a battle clearly lost for no purpose other than your own pride is no strength at all. She looked over each of them from head to toe. An olive green cloak covered them from neck down to the tops of their knees. Barrick's axe and Vincent's sabers could be seen hanging out on their backs, while the hilt of Alexandra's sword on her hip peeked out from under her cloak. Vera kept her daggers in a small sheath on the lower part of her back beneath the olive cloak. Each one of you has become a fine warrior, and with your favors you'll grow even stronger. I wish I could attend the ceremony with you and continue your energy training, but Kai will have to suffice. In truth, there's most likely no one any better to do so anyway. Try not to give him a hard time. She looked from Vera to Vincent and back again. Now hold out your hands. Weedy. Do either of you know what that's from?
No.
It reminds me of something from something, but I
Something from something?
don't know what it is.
It's rocket power.
What
No, it wasn't that.
the
Nerds.
fuck is
Whatever I was thinking of wasn't that.
rocket power?
It was the old stoner. It was the show for young stoners before there were stoners. It was on Nickelodeon. It's like a group of 4 California kids that were always skateboarding and surfing. It's a cool ass show. I'd buy it. We'll go watch it. Anyway. Charlie handed her a small drawstring pouch that rattled slightly as she put her hand inside. Fira handed each one of them a small colored stone from the pouch, similar to the one above the fireplace and in each of their weapons. Starstones? Alexandra asked. Yes. Now close your hands tightly and close your eyes. They all did as they were told. Fira stepped to the side as Charlie went to each one of them and placed his hands over theirs. With his free hand, he made a sign. His first 3 fingers formed a circle, while his ring and pinky fingers pointed straight into the sky. For the... if you want to see. When he was finished, he stepped back, and Fira spoke again. Okay, you can open them, she said, softly. Now each stone's original color had changed. Barrick's was now...
Orange.
Jesus Christ, you're colorblind even in fucking words.
Look, Barracks was now yellow.
Yeah, but it's yellow.
Wait, you told me we already went through this.
It's for in their weapons.
Are their weapons glowing?
Kind of. It's like a jewel that has a light inside it that casts a color. I was trying to get you to fill in the blank.
Where's the jewel?
In Barracks?
Yeah.
Barracks is in the pommel, but everyone else is like where the base of the blade meets the hilt. So like blade to grip right in the center. Think of like the center of the cross guard.
Yeah, like the Buster Sword.
Kind of. Yeah, but more like cross guard, but yes.
No, I know what you're talking about. It's got like a materia slot.
If that's how you want to picture it, yes, sure. Think of it like materia. Think of it like materia. That's a good way of looking at it. It's like Starstone. No, it's not a reference. But you could think of it like materia. No, it's not. So
Materia's cool. I wish I could have.
materia is cool. I wish I.
I want like proper material balls. I'd be happy.
That'd be so cool. Okay, Barracks was now.
Yellow.
Vera's was.
Red.
Alexandra's was.
Blue. I remember.
Vincent's was.
Green.
There we go. About time Dylan got one.
Woo!
Just like the stones in their weapons, Fira went down the line, taking each stone and handing them all back to Charlie. From his pocket, he pulled out a black banded necklace with a hollow silver raindrop suspended at the end. He placed each of the stones inside and wrapped his hand around it, weaving yet another sign with his other hand. When the sign was complete, he clasped both hands around the necklace tightly. From between the cracks of his fingers, they could all see a bright white light bursting out. When he finally reopened his hands, the stones were all fused together inside the raindrop. He placed the necklace over Fira's head and let her examine it further. They could see each of their designated colors glowing brightly within the raindrop that now rested around her neck. There. Since he's now responding to your energies, as long as you're okay, I'll know it. You have just under 2 weeks to reach the captain and his soldiers in Caitlin. That gives you plenty of time to avoid any nighttime traveling, but I doubt they'll wait beyond the sunrise of the day you're expected, so it's best if you're early. Let's say our goodbyes and send you on your way. Fira opened her arms. Vera rushed in to wrap herself around her and took a deep breath. You smell like sunshine and horses, Vera said softly, her face buried in Fira's long sandy hair. Fira smiled as she squeezed her. Don't let those swift hands of yours get you into trouble. A guilty smirk fell over Vera's face as she gave a final squeeze. I won't. Vera turned to Charlie and launched her arms around him. I'm gonna miss you, Gramps. He was forced to take a slight backstep with a groan. I'm gonna miss you too, Pumpkin. She threw her arms around him once more before moving aside. Barrick wrapped his arms around Fira, practically making her disappear. I swear to the stars, boy, Fira started. You get bigger every sunrise. If I didn't know any better, I'd say your father was an elder tree. He smiled and moved to the side to make Charlie disappear next. Careful now, lad. I'm old. Squeeze me too hard and I might turn to dust. No way. You're the strongest of all the steel, Gramps, Barrick said with a squeeze. Alexandra rested her cheek on Fira's shoulder and gripped her tightly. I don't think there's a scholar or writer in any corner of Sanora who has the words to tell you how grateful we are for you. Thank you for everything. You don't have to thank me for anything, Fira said, glancing up at Vincent. Just try to knock some sense into that one for me, would you? Alexandra laughed softly with tears in her eyes. I will. When she pulled away, Fira held her by the shoulders and shook her head. I feel so guilty. For what? Part of me wishes at least one of you would stay, she said with a smile and watery eyes. Alexandra hugged her once more before letting go. She walked over to Charlie and embraced him gently. I'll try not to turn you into dust, old man. He smiled and pulled her close, the scruff of his face scraping against her cheek. You take care, my dear, and of everyone else. Always. Vincent stepped forward and held his mother as tightly as he could. He was excited to embark on the long-awaited journey, but the aching thought of never seeing home again made it hard to pull away. What's this? A hug with no fuss? She asked as she squeezed him. Not this time, he said with a smile. She held him close. Maybe, if she held him long enough, he would never leave. She squeezed harder. Tears fell down her cheeks. There were so many things she knew she would never find the words to say. I'm so sorry, Vince. He shook his head on her shoulder. Don't be. I wanted to become a guardian long before you told me I had to, remember? I know. She kissed the top of his head. Your father would be so proud of you. He held her tighter. I hope so. Fira pulled away to look him in the eyes. I hope you know that there's nothing you could ever do to make any one of us feel otherwise. An uncontrollable smile spread across his face. Thanks, Mom. My boy, Charlie said as he embraced Vincent. You've grown into a fine young man, but you'll always be my boy, no matter what. Vincent pulled away, still smiling. I can live with that. Good. Off you go.
Way to kill the vibe, Todd.
Sorry. Vincent pulled away, still
We were all
smiling.
having a moment with your book.
Sorry. Vincent pulled away, still smiling. I can live with that. Good. Off you go, Charlie said, steadying himself. Vincent took a step back and fell in line with the others. My turn, Rucker demanded. He rushed to the front of the group and rustled through his little pouch. Okay, hold out your hands, but spread your fingers. With all their hands laid out before him, Rucker placed a bright silver ring on each of their index fingers. When he got to Barrick, he realized his measurements were slightly off and he could only fit the ring on his pinky. Once it finally slid on, he exhaled a breath of relief. And I was worried it was too big, Rucker said. Vincent carefully inspected the gift. It was a thin silver band marked with clear hammer impressions. with a tiny blue starstone embedded on top, glistening in the sun. The design was simple, but something about the way the silver gleamed made him realize that although the craftsmanship seemed amateur, the metal Rucker had used was far from easy to work with. Ruck, is this Sonorian silver? Vincent asked. The small boy nodded wildly with a large smile. Yep. Do you like them? I love it, Vera exclaimed, holding her hand high in the air. Charlie examined the rings with amazement. This is incredible work, my young apprentice. Rucker stood proudly. But I'm wondering, Charlie continued, where exactly did you get this Sonorian silver? Rucker's eyes widened with panic. I only used a little bit, I swear! I just couldn't let them leave without a gift to remember me by. Vincent knelt on one knee. We could never forget you, Ruck, even if we wanted to, he joked as he gently flicked his forehead. You mean it? Rucker asked, rubbing his minor injury. Of course we do, Alexandra said, crouching with open arms. Rucker flew in...
Pause. How did he flick his forehead?
Demonstrate.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
No. And
Come
how
here.
did he flick his forehead? Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Come here.
No! Why?
Another day. I thought you were doing Itachi reference.
I was.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay. Did I count one?
Yeah, you got one.
Woo! I'm the best! I'm the best! Is that the first one?
Yeah, it's a very very subtle like Naruto reference. You haven't watched Naruto, have you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make him watch all the episodes that explain Itachi.
Just do Itachi.
I'm just gonna pull up like, hey Dylan, this is a cool character. You should learn about this guy, and then I'm just gonna condense that
Condense them
story.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I loved that and I loved that little gesture. How it was like so stupid but so cute at the same time.
Itachi's never like flicking him either.
No, but that's why like I didn't want to do the same thing. He's just like pushing him away with his fingers.
Yeah.
But no, I was just like and it's not something that continues on. It's just like because anything that I'm like I liked this out of this story, I don't want to take and then just consistently use because then it feels like I'm just stealing it.
Yeah.
But like it's more of just like a head nod. It's more of just like a you guys catch this?
It's an illusion.
Yeah, it's more of just like a hey, this is something like this is a story that has heavily influenced me.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to acknowledge it in some way.
Yeah, it's an illusion.
Yeah. Oh, an illusion.
Illusion, yes.
I thought you said illusion.
No.
I was like, what? But yes. Where the fuck am I?
I did it.
Yeah, you caught one.
See what happens when you stay awake? Yeah, he earned himself a beer.
He did. Not yet. We're almost done. We're literally on the last page.
Perfect. Hurry up. Here, give me one too. We'll race.
We have democracy to spread. Fuck.
Head flick.
Yeah. I gotta find it.
Oh,
Dickhead.
Fuck, dude.
There we go. Vincent knelt on one knee. We can never forget you, Ruck, even if we wanted to, he joked as he gently flicked his forehead. You mean it? Ruck asked, rubbing the minor injury. Of course we do, Alexandra said, crouching with open arms. Rucker flew into her embrace. Come back soon. As soon as we can, she replied. Fira gently pulled Rucker back by the shoulders to stand with her and Charlie. All right, everyone. It's time. Fira looked over the four soon-to-be guardians, her children, with proud eyes and an ache in her heart. After a moment of silence, she gave them a gentle nod and watched as they turned toward the gate. The guards all bowed their heads as the four of them passed beyond the city walls. Charlie put his arm around Fira and watched the four of them disappear into the forest, with the gates closing behind them.
End chapter.
Chapter 2.
They have left home.
Chapter 2. See.
Hey.
Hey.
They've left Midgar.
They've left Midgard. No.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, no more home cooking.
That was just gibberish.
What?
Yeah. Chapter 2. So, like, yeah, there's a little exposition, a little dialogue, but I kept it pretty short, I think, personally.
Yeah,
was like-
this definitely felt a lot shorter than the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short, sweet. Because, like, I don't know. If there's action, it's one thing. But, like, exposition, let's just give you what you need to know.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. It doesn't need to be prolonged. Here's the information you need to know. Let's move on. I'll give you the rest is on a need to be basis. You don't need much right now.
You're on a need to know basis.
Exactly. You don't need to know anything more than what I just gave you. You know a little bit of backstory about the world. Let's go, keep. Fuck off. Let's go. Come on.
Gotcha.
That seems fair.
The rest will be given in due time. I don't know. I don't like being given all that shit right all at once, because then it's also like I'm not retaining any of that information. You got a little bit about the Sonorians. You don't need anything else. And you got your stupid reference. You got your Naruto reference.
I did. Caught that. Snagged it, dude.
You're like, wait a minute. This change your name.
No, I knew it as soon as he was like, come here. And he flicked him on the head. I was like, oh.
Oh.
I was like, oh. Like, that's it. I found Waldo.
Okay, you got like 9 more Waldos to find.
Only
Is
9?
that it?
I don't actually know what the number of references in the book is.
We need Easter egg count.
Well,
Okay,
I'm
well, I'll
gonna
put
be
1.
the Easter
Okay.
egg counter.
We'll be 1. Right now we have 1. We can cut those all together then.
We're at one of one.
Yes.
1 of 9.
Like actual.
What? But we've only come up to 1 so far.
Yeah.
So right now we're 1 for 1.
Yeah, 1 for 1. Because it's gonna be.
That was like the first thing that I asked. I was like, that's the first one, right?
Yeah. There's no other references. Like there's other things that are clearly inspired by, but I don't count those as like actual references. That's a full on reference to Naruto. That's a full on like I did that intentionally. Azure, stop it. You do this all the time.
Why?
Because it makes noise. You almost ate shit. And there is other characters that are inspired by other stuff.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
No, but if you catch that, you can call that out too.
It's not a reference. I already know one of them.
What?
Alexandra.
Oh. Well, she's not inspired by a character, but it is like
Yeah, her character's not, but there's a very
there's
specific...
a part of her that is inspired by something. So yeah, so that's fair. But yeah, that counts. Inspiration. I think the
Is
other.
that also technically another one of the references?
No, because I mean reference as like I'm all but taking something out of it and like putting like when I mean reference, I'm talking like how Ruby does the whole Puma thing.
Oh.
For Rooster Teeth. Like
I guess.
the big like that's a full on reference to.
That's like a yeah. Okay.
You
yeah,
get my point?
Yeah, I get your point.
Okay. Because Ruby has a. You just watched that, didn't you? Didn't you just watch that?
No, I'm trying to like. Listen, I don't want to, because I know he's miserable watching the first few seasons of Red versus Blue.
As most people tend to be.
Yeah.
Wait,
a little rough.
I made you watch it, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it was good, right?
I watched all Red versus Blue.
And it was good, right?
Well, we didn't technically watch all of it.
There were more seasons, but we
13.
watched
where-
season 13 and then we stopped because that was like like that's the real ending for me. Because you go.
I think that's where a lot of people consider it to be the ending.
Yeah. There's still so like the next like 3 seasons I think they're still fun to watch.
We started to watch 14, but we fell
That's
asleep
where
through
this
it.
that's where the story's over.
Yeah, we fell asleep through 14, so it didn't.
14 was 14's just a bunch of skits actually.
Or maybe it was 15 then.
It's 15, 16 I think.
We started to watch something else, but I fell asleep through it. But
And then they tried to do something else with it, and that had to have flopped hard because it was awful.
But yeah, that's
Anyway,
that's
there's
what I mean.
13 seasons. I understand. Season 1 through 5, The Blood Gold Chronicles. If you're trying to get somebody into the show, is not the move. But it gets good.
It's funny. You just survive off of like one-liners, basically.
Yeah.
You just survive. You lied to me. I say that to people all the time. Nobody knows what that's from. But yeah, so the part where they're talking about the warthog, he's like, "What is?" I forget what the exact quote is, but he's like, "What is that? Some kind of cat?" I don't know, like puma. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, we were just watching that earlier. Yeah.
So that line, whatever it is, word for word, they take it word for word out of that, and the people that make Ruby, Rooster Teeth, same people, it's in Ruby.
Yeah, it's in an episode of Ruby. It's just one small line they gloss right over it, and the only way you're understanding it is if you watch Red vs. Blue.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I have.
I love that shit in shows. Cause like we're watching.
I do too.
We're watching Ruby, and like none of the people I'm watching Ruby with have seen Red vs. Blue, and they do that, and I'm like, oh yeah.
You just geek out. Yeah. So it's like. Yeah. So like I have that in the book. So like hopefully when people read it, they'll go, they do it. Cause like there's Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. Like, the Naruto thing's maybe a little bit less. Like, the Game of Thrones thing is straight up just a line, right? It's not... I'll point it out. But it's like... It's a right out of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Alright, well, yeah, it's a... do I want to tell you?
No, don't tell me.
Okay, I won't tell you.
I'll try to guess.
Okay. You're never gonna guess.
We'll see.
You're never gonna guess. But
We'll see about that.
it's like...
I'm 1 for 1.
It's quote, like, 5 words right out of Game of Thrones. And then there's a reference to Lord of the Rings pretty early on. There's a reference to... Papa missed the Star Trek reference.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I had to explain it to him.
How do you feel after?
Educated?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I never realized that. Because I had to explain to... He didn't even get it in Star Trek. He didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah.
So...
Anyway.
Yeah. That's all.
Now what? Now what do we do?
I guess we wrap it up, dude. Save chapter 3 for next week.
Yeah,
Chapter
wrap
3,
it up.
they're officially out of the village. They're officially... I'll give you a little preview.
So what are we doing?
Join us on next Monday, since you can't read, where they will... 4 new adventurers journey away from home into the land, the wilderness of Sanora. I don't know my own world. Sanora, on the way to Kalen, journeying to Meditas, where they have adventures and come across things and plants. Treacherous terrains.
Treacherous plants.
Shadowy shadows. Corridors.
Dark plants.
And dark things. And weather.
Weather. No. Not weather.
No clear skies.
No clear skies. Yeah.
Raining,
They're journeying.
raining lizards.
In the next chapter, they're journeying to Meditas.
Cool. Now we're walking. Great. Walking.
Lord of the Rings.
To a
Lord of
fucking
the Rings.
mountain.
Here's the first movie.
Here's the second movie.
No. The only
Ready
walk
for the third movie?
all walking is summarized in chapter 3. You don't have to worry about it. It's not a whole book. It's not a whole 2 books. It's not a whole 3 books. It's just 1 chapter. I've taken all the walking. I've condensed it to 1 chapter.
They walk fast, bro.
You're welcome.
They just get to the place.
Yeah, they actually... The chapter starts off with... First, they took a few steps. The weather was great. Then, they were at Meditas. Chapter 3. Done.
Sounds like my kind of story. I can read that one.
You read stories in bullet points.
Yes.
I'm amazed. You were dozing a little bit at one point. I think until... That's what kind of cracked me up about chapter 2. Is like, when she pulls out the story, she starts reading. That's why I thought story time was funny, or one of the reasons when we were going to originally call it, because that was one of the things I was talking about.
Yeah, and she's talking about people falling asleep while reading, and
Yeah.
I'm falling asleep while you're reading.
Yep. And that's why as soon as I said that, I just looked at you, and you were like kind of asleep, and then you were like, ha. Just fucking called it out.
You got me. You put me asleep with your reading.
Yep. don't know. That's what's great about stories.
And you're writing. Ha ha. I got him.
That's a good thing or a bad thing.
We'll see.
Well, I don't know. It's a different media.
TBD.
Mom and Papa aren't falling asleep. So, and if Papa's not falling asleep.
No, I mean, this isn't the way to be consuming a book, typically.
Yeah, definitely not. Not at all. This is definitely not how I would choose to absorb a book. I would not. I can't visualize it. Like, I can't go into the world audioly, but this is since you can't read.
Yeah, that's what
This
I'm
is a
trying
way
to
to
do.
give it to you since you wouldn't do it any other way.
Yeah.
At least you get the gist.
You're like, oh, okay. It's like you're also getting the author talking about his book.
Yeah, you got a little insider information. It's like VIP access.
We're the extra on the fucking DVD where it's with commentary.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, pretty much.
Paul's movie, now this scene right fucking here.
Yeah, or how the actors are talking over the whole scene. It's like, oh, remember when you fucking stubbed your toe on this scene?
Did you know that dude broke his foot? in
No,
kicking
stop
that?
it, stop it. He hasn't seen the movie. Don't ruin that scene for me. He hasn't seen them. I will do it when the time comes. No.
I already know
No.
what he's talking about.
No.
I already know exactly
No.
what he's talking
No,
about.
you don't.
Yes,
No,
I do.
you don't. Let me do it. It's mine. It's my time. My time to shine. Don't steal my thunder. I'm gonna do it. I do it to everyone I show the movie to.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be mine. Don't ruin it. Act surprised when I tell you. Thank you very much.
Wow. He did, though.
He did. Did you also know that he broke a tooth and then glued it back together?
That's crazy.
He's a nut, dude. They're like, you
Fuck,
gotta go to the
whatever
dentist.
works.
He's just like,
I mean, whatever
Fucking
works.
Elmer's just-
basically, dude. The man's crazy. I love it. He's like fishing in between takes and stuff. He's like, at one point, they have a camera on him as he's fishing. And he just turns the camera and goes, I should probably go learn my lines. I love the background for those movies. Or the extras.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's so fucking great. Alright, it's Magic the Gathering time, so.
Oh, that's super lame, but alright.
What do you mean it's lame?
I mean, you're lame. You're playing fucking nerd games.
You're playing Minecraft.
You just eat my dick, dude. Piss off.
And you're playing Minecraft.
And you're playing Magic.
The Gathering. A real game with real cards. You're staring at a screen. I'm spending time with our parents.
Oh, wow. Well, nobody likes a kiss ass.
Not about being kiss ass, but having fun, and about making your parents realize that you're better than them, because I keep winning, so I am the best.
There you go.
You're well.
There you go. The truth has been revealed.
The truth has been revealed.
He's not out there to make them happy.
No, I'm out there to win. Always. I don't lose.
He's out there to dominate.
The only time I leave this room is to dominate. If I walk out this room, the moment that handle is twisted, you understand I am dominating.
Okay. Okay.
Everyone, everything. In my chanclas.
Chanclas.
In me chanclas. Ow!
Ay, hermanos.
Okay, until the next chapter.